this type of situation. It might have the financial means or might have those connections where you actually put the person asking you for help, you put them in a better position than if you just help them yourself.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, similar type thinking. You know, you could definitely, sometimes you can help people by knowing what you know and what you don't know and who you don't know and point them in the right direction, because there's something to be said for that. You know, a lot of times people try and stretch themselves too thin and they think they're helping, but they might be helping them more if they just point them in the right direction.
Right. And most people, I mean, I know during the Christmas timeline, starting in October nowadays, but some wait till around Thanksgiving, through New Year's, we get bombarded, whether it's mailings we get on television, all sorts of places. We see, please, help with the XYZ hospital charity, or donate to Meals on Wheels, or many other great places. And maybe now, when this airs, will have passed tax time. But that's another time of year people think about, if I get this in before April 15th, I'll be able to take it off my taxes. But let's explain to them why they shouldn't just wait to these 2 times of the year.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is whether you get credit for this year or next year or last year, you're still going to get credit for it at some point. There's usually that mad rush at the end of the year, and that's where people try and do that mad rush, and then they wind up, if they're not planning things throughout the whole year, they might not be able to contribute the way that they would, going back to what we talked about earlier. If you have a budget, if you have a business plan, to work that stuff in throughout the year, because even if you're not spending money in January, February, March, if you put aside, or your business puts aside $500 a month, you're going to have $1,500 or $2,000 when you're ready to spend in April. So budget, planning, are essential, and that gives you the flexibility as opposed to feel that you can only contribute at a certain time of year. Like I said earlier, the tax benefit's great, but the reality is, you're doing it to help people out, or at least you should be, first and foremost.
And nowadays with what's online, you can also see if they have a special event coming up that you'd like to help them fund. And again, if it's something where they need volunteers and so forth. So it's, again, look around and see what's happening in your area, and there are all sorts of great calendar events you can find online.
Yeah, I mean, without question, there's stuff at your fingertips, whether it's in newsletters or the internet, or just by word of mouth. There's nothing wrong with asking a friend or a colleague or someone that you know that's involved to say, hey, what's a good cause that you donate to and why, and learn more about it. And, their story may motivate you to help out in any way you can.
And you even mentioned this a little bit earlier, because you mentioned one of your scholarship winners was in Oregon and you're in California. So because on Partners in Health and Biz, a podcast not only goes across the U.S., it goes anywhere else online. So we don't have to be in a specific locale. It's nice if you help a local charity, but you can reach out to any place around the country and say, I'd like to be helping you. Tell me what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that distance precludes you from doing is possibly physically being in that city or being at that agency or organization helping out. But I mean, with telephone, with internet, even if it's just calling people, trying to solicit donations, whether it's online, helping out, or whether it's just donating money or to help out or get word out about a good cause. I mean, you could do that pretty much anywhere worldwide, and it eliminates that excuse that, this is really good charity, but it's too far away. There's 9 out of 10 ways you could probably help that charity do not require you to physically be there. Certainly not in 2019.
Yeah, and even when I've served, let's say, on the board of directors for the Editorial Freelancers Association. Back then I was back in New York, but we now have grown, EFA has grown, where it's more beyond the New York tri-state area. We have more people outside that area. We even have folks in the UK, we have them in India, and Lord even knows where else. So if tomorrow somebody, when we send out the next announcement that we're looking for elections for the next board of directors, we wouldn't mind wherever they are. You got a call, heck, you got a phone, let alone Skype. Now we have Skype, we have all of those things. So somebody could serve on the board. It's wonderful options that keep growing.
Yeah, without question.
So didn't you write a book we should mention?
Yeah, I did. I've written. The primary one is called, Facing Criminal Charges in San Diego. Here's what you need to know to regain control of your future. And it's a book that was ultimately published last year. It's something I've been working on for a while. And we did it, you could buy it on Amazon, but that's not really why we did it. I'm not making any money off the royalties by any stretch of the imagination. But we did it more as an informational tool to individuals who, whether themselves or a loved one, may be facing criminal charges for the first time, and what to do do, where to turn, some commonly asked questions, because the goal of it was to give people enough information so they can make an informed decision on at least where to start, things to look for in a criminal defense attorney, particularly in San Diego, but generally, anywhere for that matter, because the goal is if they make an informed decision, whether it's hiring my firm or somewhere else, at least they're going to be hiring someone who knows what they're doing. Gotten a lot of good reviews on that. Glad to be able to help out in that regard, and it's been a good story and something that a lot of people have liked, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, and I bring it up because, yes, it gives you a little bit of a commercial, but the other reason I bring it up is because you could technically donate the book to help a charity, as a gift prize. They're always looking for these kinds of things. They're not just looking for dollar donations, and I've just forgotten, it just went straight out of my head. Oh, silent auction. You can do it as a regular auction, but they even do silent auctions where people can bid over the internet or however they put it in a basket before they leave. And this one chooses this wonderful painting they'd like to buy, and that's their donation. They can buy your book. And so that's another way someone like you can support something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much value someone would see in it, but hell, if they get it on Amazon for $25 or $30, if it's $30 into a good cause, so be it, for sure. I mean, I used to joke when the book first came out that I was going to donate the royalties to a charity, and then I wound up having a couple $100 that I wound up putting aside into our charity budget.
That's very clever.
Yeah, so it wound up working out well, and it's just another way to have some money available without having to dig into whether it's our marketing budget or our general budget for the day-to-day operations of the firm. It's an opportunity to turn additional revenue into something positive.
Yeah, down the road I'm going to be doing a session here on Partners in Health and Biz about writing an e-book, because there's books where you really have to have a fair number of pages. But you can do an e-book, which is much shorter, and it can end up as a series depending on how you do it. And again, it's not necessarily for making money, but it's when you're on a talk show like this, or you even have a TV event, or donating it to charity. That's how we keep getting back to charity. So it's an investment that's part of your marketing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, the marketing benefit of it is definitely something that's not to be lost in all of it. But again, I mean, it all goes back to making sure that people, whether they hire my firm or not, know what they're up against and know where to look, because it's a daunting task. I mean, I had an experience which motivated me writing the book, 15 years ago, give or take, coming up actually on the 15-year anniversary of when I was arrested, for something I admittedly did do. And, found myself in a situation where I didn't know what impact that arrest was going to have on my future, what impact that was going to have on my present. What is I going to go to jail? If so, for how long? Despite being in law school at the time, I was totally freaked out and was in a city that I didn't have family in, and that didn't know a whole lot of people that I could trust in a legal community. And I look back on that 15 years from now, and I think, oh my God, imagine what that would be like if I wasn't in law school. If I didn't have family that has law enforcement or legal backgrounds, and people go through that stuff every single day. And if the book is even a minor resource that could help them out in any way, shape, or form, put their mind at ease and answer some common questions, then it's certainly worth it.
Yeah, I can't. Thank God I haven't had to face that. And from what I've seen on your website, it's not like you fit a certain profile that they'll automatically wonder, well, I wonder why he was out at 10 o'clock at night, or, he could be planting bombs or something like that. So it's cockeyed enough when you fit a profile. I can't even imagine what you had to go through.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but I tell you what, I look back at the way, and it really did not, thank God, did not close any doors for me, and I think what it did was it fueled my passion for criminal defense. It fueled my passion to helping, which is our motto here in our mission statement, to help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. And, I went through it, lived through it. Thankfully, it didn't affect me in any way other than motivated me, and I think made me stronger, made me more effective advocate for, the people that myself and my firm, greater than me, obviously represent over time.
And that gets finally back to the donating and the charity work, because you can fuel your own strength, I guess I'd call it, and broaden your mindset. You can bring yourself new opportunities along with helping others. It's a wonderful learning experience. It has all sorts of benefits above and beyond, as we mentioned earlier, the tax write-off.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said too for the community, especially if you're in a service industry business, a for-profit service industry business like the legal profession is, or at least obviously our firm is, that your community sees you out there and not just taking money for a service and not doing anything to give back. I think that's important. I know, in my personal life, whatever I want to, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's you call someone so you need something fixed in your house, you want to go with someone that the community believes in, that the community knows and the community trusts. And it's just another mechanism as a small business owner to get out there and to do good, and for people to know where to find you and know that you're doing good with some of the money that's coming into your firm, and you're not just turning your back on the people that are helping you achieve your own goals.
Right, and that's especially critical, as you mentioned, besides lawyers, in our healthcare listeners, the professionals. I mentioned yoga instructors, and it could be dentists, it could be food suppliers, it could be all sorts of people who have to work in health of the community. And don't just rely, even if you're linked to a hospital, let's say, and I mentioned yoga instructors, so the odds are they're not, but you could be a orthopedic surgeon or whatever, still getting the word around of, look who Dr. Smith really is. That helps when they choose which orthopedic surgeon or dentist or whatever. So it's a definite advantage. It's not the only reason to do it, but it is, it is a helpful part of donating whatever it is, dollars, times, it gains recognition.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to, all else being equal, they're going to hire or give their business to people who they know, like, and trust, and it's just another means to get out there and establish that connection with a large clientele base that may know nothing about you and may never get to meet you personally, but at least before they do, they'll know a little bit about what you're about.
Okay, so we actually need to be winding down from this week's Partners in Health and Biz. I want to thank my guest, David P. Shapiro, Esquire, who, again, I mentioned is a criminal defense attorney and the managing partner of the law firm that bears his name in San Diego, California. David, tell folks how they can reach you and or other members of your team.
Sure. Our general website is davidpshapirolaw.com. So it's my first name, D-A-V-I-D, P as in Philip, Shapiro, S-H-A-P-I-R-O, law, L-A-W.com. That's our website. Our general phone number is 619-295-3555, 619-295-3555, or you could contact the firm directly and speak to one of our assistants who could get something set up with me if that is appropriate at Client Relations. So one word, CLIENTRELATIONS at D as in David, P as in Philip, SHAPIRO.com. So client relations at dpshapiro.com.
Well, that's great. So that gives people all sorts of options. I do suggest it's one thing if you're looking for a new scholarship or something, then you can be anywhere. But if you really need a defense attorney, you sort of stick to the San Diego area, right?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, you always want to hire someone that's locally experienced in whatever field or whatever need you have.
Okay. Well, I want to remind people to tune in next week at 9 a.m. for my partner, as I mentioned earlier. That's Gail Dixon, and her next wellness topic you'll find in social media as we get it set up. And of course, don't forget to keep checking out Partners in Health and Biz on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We repeat this episode on Spreaker.com early this coming week from when it's broadcast. And don't forget, of course, you can ask questions for me about advertising in 2019 or possibly being a guest. We're halfway through the year in getting things set up, but there's still time. So you contact me at wendyjm.pih@gmail.com. So it's wendyjm.pih@gmail.com. Of course, you can check out our website, which, by the way, I'm in the midst of upgrading because I think Gail did it in 2011 and it's time to redo. But you can see the original partnersinhealth.biz. That's the website, partnersinhealth.biz. And to look for more information on myself, go to WMMedcom, MEDCOMM, like medical communications, WMMedcom.com. healthcaremarketing.com, and you'll find out everything you need to know about me on business-to-business and business-to-consumer print and online materials. So I thank you again for tuning in, folks. Again, this is Wendy Meyeroff from Partners in Health and Biz. Enjoy the rest of your week.